Hi, it's Pip McKay here, and it's time for your article as part of Pip's Tips. And the series that we're looking at the moment is all based on speech giving, public speaking, and training. And this article is how to give the audience what they want so that they beg for more. So, the best way to think about creating a speech is think about your specific audience and then think about what is it that that audience wants. Put yourself in their shoes and think about what can benefit them most and what do they want most. So for example, if I was sitting down with an audience and they were interested in trainers training, one of the biggest problems that that audience is going to be facing is time. They feel like they're too busy for it. So I'm brainstorming all of the sorts of things that they might have a problem with. So it might be time, it might be money, it might be thinking about whether they can set up their own business, and so on and so forth. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to think of a story, an opening story that addresses that problem. So the second part of this is creating a story that addresses the audience's prime problem. So I might talk about how it was when I was thinking about doing trainers training, that I was busy with a full-time job. I had just taken some time off to do my prac and master prac trainings, and now I was going to be taking time off to do trainers training. So the story might be about how I approached my boss about that. It also might be about how I started to think about what was most important in my life, because for a lot of people, they fill their life with everything that's busy rather than the things that is most important to them. And for me, I knew that I wanted to set up my own business. I knew that being a tremendous trainer, particularly an NLP trainer, was going to be the way that I'd have the biggest impact on the most number of people. So I started to focus on that, focus on what was most important for me. And what was really interesting was, as I focused on how it was that I'd be able to take the time off, I started to organize myself around that. So I was able then to organize my colleagues to take on part of my role. I was able to organize my household situation around the fact that I was going to be taking that time off. And then I was able to start preparing for it in the time in between, like on the plane, because I did my trainers training in the States. You guys are lucky because you can do your trainers training here. And when I found that I focused on the big picture, the smaller things started to fit in around that big picture, and it gave me a lot more time. So with an audience like that, with a problem like that, that's the type of story that I might engage in. Then you can start the teaching point. So you tell that story from problem up to crisis, up to resources and the resources that you use. So for me, the resource was focusing on the big picture and what I really wanted. And then I would leave the story there and then start talking about the teaching point. So the teaching point might be how to organize a speech in 20 minutes, or the teaching point might be how people can engage with your products or services. So then you do the teaching point in between. And then at the very end of the speech, you would talk about what happened. So for me, I did my trainers training. I came back from the States. I continued working in the company for a while, setting up trainings. And then after a little while, I left the company and I created my own training business. And it completely changed my life. In fact, that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years. And if I hadn't done my NLP trainers training, then I would never have my own business doing NLP trainings and developing on from that all the other trainings that I've been doing, like Your Quest and Matrix Constellations. So it completely changed my life, and that would be the end victory point that you talk about. For me, it gave me my home in Manly, it gave me my 3 investment properties, it gave me a month off every year going overseas somewhere doing something else that I really enjoy. So that's the victory point, and that's how you would end the story. So now you've got this perfect package, and the package starts off with addressing the problem that the audience might have in story form, talking about a story from your own experience or one of your clients' experiences that addresses the problem that your audience probably has. You bring that story to some form of crisis, then you look at the resources that you used, and then you do your teaching point, and then at the end you finish off the story with victory. Now, obviously, I'm just paraphrasing the story. If you were really telling that story, you would go into all of the emotions and painting a picture for the audience. But I just wanted to give you a brief snapshot of the type of thing that you might do. So that's the end of how to give the audience what they want so that they beg for more. And I look forward to speaking with you soon.